Before Christ, my life was very crazy, and I was my own worst enemy. Since I can remember, I was always my own worst enemy. In 2000, I became an alcoholic and started attending meetings where they had a 12-step program. And eventually I knew that I would have to get closer to God in order to stay sober. So I started attending a Celebrate Recovery, and there I learned that God loved me. He really loved me, inside and out, all of me, just the way I was. And as time went by, my life has changed so much. In 2014, I had 2 strokes, and I've been spiritually and physically healed through the church, all the way to 100%. I had lost 65% of my heart muscle, and I'm 100% back to today. My reason for being baptized is I love the Lord and I want to please Him. I've made life changes in my life to please Him, and I want to continue in that path. And I love Jesus. Amen.
Growing up, I've gone to church on holidays, and I've just not had a very close relationship with God. I always believed in Him, but just never really walked with Him. A couple years ago, I watched my daughter get baptized, and something clicked in me that she had a relationship with Him that I didn't. I was living for myself and living, for my own way and trying to impress other people. And about a year and a half ago, I just felt so empty, and I was, not fulfilled, and I was, trying to make changes in my life, change my career, cut some friends out of my life, and, it didn't really work. And, I was in a relationship, and, that just crumbled, and I was so lost and confused and, without hope. And so I decided to come to church one day, and, after that, I, started crying out to God, like, why is everything so tough, and why is life so empty, and why is there so much hurt in my heart? And one Friday night, I decided not to go out with my buddies and hang out, and I just sat at home, and I started praying and really crying to Him and asking Him, why do I feel the way that I feel? And there was just a snap of the fingers, and I just felt this overwhelming peace, and it was like He was telling me, I'm here for you. I brought you to this point for a reason, and that's why you're here, and that's why I want you with me to show you that I can carry these burdens with you. There was no more fear, there was no more emptiness, and He was present in my life, in my heart, and He wanted me with Him, and He just really is there for me. And at that point, I decided I wanted to wash away the old person that I was, and that I wanted to become a better person and walk closer to Him. And that's why I've decided to get baptized.
Hi, my name's Kim, and my story in my walk with Jesus started during a down night one night. I was kind of down, and I had a hug from a friend, and then everything just changed for me. After that hug, God just entered into my life. One day at church, one Sunday morning, I went up for an altar call, and the pastor laid his hands on me and prayed, and I just felt God's presence and told me I was forgiven. And ever since that day, my life has just changed. If God can forgive me, then I must be okay. I'm not as bad as I thought I was. My life before was pretty wild, and I did everything my way. I did a lot of moving around and everything, and God was on the back burner. He was in my life, but He wasn't in my life. I knew Him, but my mom died and my niece died at 6, and to me, he was a mean God, and I was angry at Him. I hated Him. Until I laid out, and He told me He forgave me. And that was just an awesome feeling. And then, I've had a lot of miraculous things happen to me in this past year. And That's all it's been, is a year, and God has done so much in my life. I don't have enough time to tell you all about it.
Before I got saved, I had a heart full of sadness, being alone, and darkness. I was here one Sunday and I was still battling with my depression, and I felt like the time was right. So I went up front and I just asked God to come into my heart, and I felt it right then and there, and like it was immediate. My kids were asking me, Mom, how did that feel when you got saved? And I told them, I said it was immediate happiness. And I've let the joy continue with me since. Like I feel like a changed person from the inside.
Hi, I'm Alicia. I've been a Christian since I was a child, but started walking away from the right path, making wrong choices. I felt hopeless. In 2012, I found Vineyard and recently recommitted my life to Christ. I found hope, a new meaning to life, and came alive spiritually. I now know what it's like to have a church family and community. You know, that's what and it feels good, you know, to have that in my life.